Hello, this is Garrett Castleberry, Program Director for Communication, Media, and Ethics at MacU, and I am here to provide a little bit of an asynchronous talk regarding our curriculum proposal for electives revisions. And so, in lieu of summer session, the potential for folks to be out of pocket, I just want to relay some key information and open up a dialogue if necessary for feedback, for questions that you all may have regarding this paperwork. And so the communication program, as we've redesigned it, still relatively new, but one of our plans has been to consistently continue to develop it in ways that are organic to where we're seeing needs and interests, but also keeping an eye out for what values are available in terms of professional development, scholarly rigor, and so on. And so to simplify what is going on with the paperwork, we have currently 4 electives in the comm major. We started with a relatively small number, and that was intentional. And this proposal adds 5 new options to the electives list. However, there's a pretty strong rationale for each of them, and it's actually less curriculum design labor that will technically be involved, but it does enhance the opportunities that students are going to have through these elective options. And let's talk a little bit about why these were selected and how they will benefit the major. We're going to keep that comm major at a lean, mean 42 hours, all right? So nothing is changing there. But what we do want to enhance is kind of the diversification of curriculum options. And let me talk about one of the most important areas where diversification is important and where it aligns with the university's mission, all right? What is great about this curriculum proposal, but also its alignment with the university's current goals is we have both an internship or internship 1 and internship 2 hours designated in this list. One of the natural developments that we've seen over these years is increased interest in and increased participation in high quality in certain times, internships for students, opportunities to get their feet in the door with professional businesses, organizations, public, private, religious, and so on. And this really is an essential area for students, but it's tricky to add that as a required curriculum. And I believe in the old version of the major, it may have been, but when you're working with both on-ground traditional students and online students with various needs and requirements, it's hard to press that requirement on them. Instead, what we've done is really champion the idea, is invest time in our classes to talk about the strengths of internships, to bring in professional guests like working professionals that talk to our students about the values it offers, and then use that as a door to invite them to consider to use some of those elective hours if they can locate a healthy internship that meets a certain standard, a certain criteria. And so we actually are already working with students and helping them not only use their internships, but in some cases, we're helping find and connect students with internships, with partners that we're constantly networking with and trying to stay on their radar, not just allow them to come to us, but part of our initiative, we're out there forging new relationships so that they could potentially grow into partnerships. In other words, we recognize the value of internships. They're important. Students want them. Students are already doing them. We just don't have that built into actual comm curriculum. Well, this poses some challenges that adds to other people's labor, which we've been borrowing codes from other majors. I mean, in a completely ethical way. I just mean there's several additional steps that it takes every single time we enroll a student in internship hours. And this is really going to simplify that process for us. Along the same lines, we have increasingly a number of students that really they're trying to forge their portfolios and their professional goals in different directions, in unique directions. communication is interdisciplinary. It crosses many lines. We prepare our students for innumerable professional opportunities that really can go in a plethora of directions. And so for this reason, we see different types of talents with our students, but we don't always have the place to house that talent or a project that they have in mind in a given course or courses. Now, most of the time we do, but there are unique circumstances where students are able to complete a certain type of creative labor that we don't necessarily have the ideal fit for. Well, this is a rationale, an opportunity, an invitation for us to incorporate something like what we're calling a special project hours. And you'll see the write-up, the rationale for that. I think it's perfectly clear. It's also intentionally open because so many of these career projects can go in very different directions, and so we want to support our students, their professional development, their creativity in that direction. For those that are more scholarly inclined, and we do see sometimes it's CAS, sometimes it's CAGS, but those students are out there, they exist, and we have had a lot of students graduate from the major that are currently in seeking or recently completed master's degrees or secondary degrees. And we want to create a space to help shepherd, if they know early enough in advance what area they want to specialize in and continue to develop, we want to meet that need. And that's where you can also see on our list of electives a directed readings. And that's a very classical choice. It's just something that's not been on the list. It's been off the radar. I think we have a healthy way to introduce it, which is as this very selective and intentional elective option. And then finally, one of our most popular classes, and it's a class that's popular online, it's a class that's popular on ground. We're kind of rotating cycles between when it's on ground, typically in the fall, and online, typically running in the spring. Well, that's special topics in media studies. It allows us a certain level of intentional specialization focus in media. And I think so many of our students do have interest in going into roles and positions and opportunities that will be integrated with media. In fact, we all do. This is what am I doing right now, right? We're using media to communicate. And so we're accomplishing a lot in that special topics. But what we've learned through various cycles of the class is there's so much more we can get to that we don't have the time, the space, and the curriculum designed for yet. And so we want to introduce the special topics too. And this is really going to go in a completely new direction from the other one. It's not just going to be like a part one, part two. These aren't designed to have to be taken together. And so I'm going to alleviate those concerns. But I really want to champion what we have in mind, the vision for special topics too. And it's going to meet a need and fill a gap that we currently have in the major, which is more hands-on experience and development of special projects. Well, not that other special project, but the development of creative multimedia projects with students. And so we want them to get their hands dirty with a creative multimedia project. In fact, we already have 2 distinct types of projects that can be performed independently as well as in a collaborative or group setting, depending on student preference. And we're excited to be able to move forward with that and immediately begin development, start putting that into the rotation. I think it's going to strengthen the visibility of the successful projects that we're tackling in the communication major. Hopefully, it will, ideally, as always, strengthen and enhance the brand of MacU and what we can offer, what we can do for our students. So that's a look at these very natural electives that we're looking to add into the major, and also it'll take some of the pressure off a few of these other electives that we currently have that, honestly, I think a couple of them at least we're offering too frequently. I think it will benefit them to be able to back off and have this healthier rotation between our electives. So it's all gearing toward just strengthening and stabilizing the direction of the communication degree. This went a little long. That's okay. Perhaps I developed enough of a clear rationale here that it will alleviate many of the questions you might organically have for me. However, if you do, send those in. Let's talk about it. I appreciate the process of gathering the signatures and working through that. Everyone done a fine job pointing out questions when they identified them, and look forward to that healthy process to work together. So thank you for listening to our discussion of the curriculum proposal to expand our electives in communication, media, and ethics degree at MACU.